Right, so onto the MXR bass envelope filter. Now, I've tried out a number of envelope filters over the years, and I've always had a bit of a problem getting them to trigger in exactly the way that I want to. The way a bass envelope filter works is the circuitry is similar to a wah-wah pedal. If you imagine a wah-wah pedal, the heel down, it's in the bass frequency area, and as you push that forward, it sweeps the tone forward to a trebly based tone, and you can move it back and forth for that wah wah sound. Now, the envelope filter has the same kind of tone controls in it, but that sweep is controlled by what's called an envelope, and that's triggered by the input that you give it from the bass. The harder you play, the more that envelope opens, and the more wah or quack or whatever you want to call it comes out. Now, I've had problems with these before. I've found envelope filters that I actually prefer the sound to this one, but getting them to trigger just right is a bit of a nightmare. You can either not trigger them enough and it stays down in those low bass frequencies, and that just rumbles through and causes a whole load of problems in the room, filling with the boomy bass sound, or they'll trigger too much, head up into the treble frequencies, and then you lose all your bass frequencies, which is not great on the bass. So what the MXR does, and it is a nice sounding envelope filter, I'm not putting it down for that, but what it does really well is that it has a dry effect throughput. So you can blend in your clean signal. That means you can have it on quite a wiry, quacky, trebly sound, and you still maintain that low end. Now, there's my clean tone. So what I've got it set up here is with mostly with the effect, but with the dry about halfway, so I maintain a bit of that low end and can get that lovely envelope sound. And you can hear there where I'm slapping that it's going quite up into the treble frequencies, but I'm still got that bottom end underneath, which is really, really good. And especially in a band setting, just maintaining the bottom end is kind of the role of the bass, so it's quite important to do. Bass envelope filter I use sparingly because you don't want to go too overboard with all the quacking. Similar to the OC2, it's quite good for getting some of those old 80s synthy vibe kind of tones. Of course, if you're playing in a funk band, it's kind of an essential. But it's sort of just getting the right tone for a song. This one does a whole huge range of tones. This is kind of where I've got it set at the moment. And it's just quite good for, getting that sort of keyboard tone out of it, really. And if you combine it with the OC2, even more so. Envelope filter. Go and try out a whole load. I recommend. There's loads of good ones on the market. I just found this one particularly good for live work, which is where I use it the most, especially because of that dry signal through. But really fun effect to use.